Dear students of class 8, today's topic colonialism and the city. Now, colonialism already I discussed it on the previous chapter. So, British established the colonies in India, established the rule, they exploited India economically and established the political supremacy over Indian subcontinent. We know that gradually the British introduced new economic policies, the economic administrative centers in India. As a result, and British also destroyed our self-sufficient village economy as a result of the new revenue settlements like Parliament, Rayatari and Malwari. So, old towns and cities lost their importance gradually, which flourished earlier. Now, people, that the Surat, Machilipatnam, and also Srirangam, Dhaka, we see that the began to decline. Surat was most important center of trade during the Mughal period. Dhaka similarly, and Machilipatnam. These new old centers began to decline, and people now migrated from cities to the village areas. So, this migration from city to village areas was known as deurbanization. New urban centers developed, Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. Calcutta, Bombay and Madras, we see that the urban centers flourished. We see that we can see that the Calcutta East India Company established the Calcutta as a trading center initially, and they made it capital. Job Charnock, a East India Company official who came in the year 1690, and see that it is said East India Company purchased three villages, Sultanati, Govindapur and Kolkata, from a local landlord, Sabarmati Rai Chaudhary. And then you see that the Calcutta was at that time divided into Black Town and White Town. The southern part was known as White Town and northern part Black Town. We see that gradually we have seen that the Fort William, which was built during the time of Siraj-ud-Dawla, Fort William was built in the year 1702, and gradually the Calcutta became very important center of trade and commerce, and it became the center it was used as a capital, because Calcutta was the capital of the East India Company, and ultimately it was shifted to Delhi in the year 1911 in the month of December. Now, we see that the many hill towns also flourished by the Britishers. The British also established many, due to the severe heat in the plain region, they established many hill cities like Dehradun, Mussoorie, Nainital, Dalhousie, etc. Hill stations. Now, we know that the East India Company's rule, there are three presidency cities, like Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. Now you see that already I mentioned about it is said that Job Charnock was the founder, but it is not accepted. Job Charnock was the founder of the city of Calcutta in 1690. Now, gradually the British built the Fort William, and Siraj-ud-Dawla attacked Calcutta in 1856 and captured the Fort William. Later the Robert Clive recaptured it. We see that and in 1772, during the time of Lord Warren Hastings, Governor General, Calcutta became the capital of India. Calcutta was named capital of British India, 1772 by Warren Hastings. We know that now we see that it is said the Wellesley was responsible for the development of the city of Calcutta. See that already I have seen that the Calcutta was gradually developing into many palatial buildings were set up in the north and south Calcutta. Black Town, Calcutta was divided into black towns and white towns. We know that Calcutta was the center of Bengal Renaissance, and it's that the rebirth of art, architecture, cultural movement began in Calcutta, and You see that the 1883 Sundaram Bandyopadhyay organized a conference in Calcutta at Albert Hall. It is known as National Conference. Swadeshi movement began in the year 1905 when Lord Curzon partitioned Bengal. In the 16th October 1905, the Swadeshi movement and anti-partition movement began in Calcutta. So Calcutta was a very important cultural center. We see that ultimately the city was shifted. Capital was shifted from Calcutta to Delhi in the year 1911. Now, during the World War II, millions of people suffered. We know that a severe 1946 severe riot broke out in Calcutta when Jinnah called for direct action day on 16th August. See that it is called direct or Hindu-Muslim riot broke out in Calcutta. As a result, 4,000 people died. Bombay, at present Mumbai, it was consisting of several islands, namely Bombay Island, Pearl, Parel, Majagaon, Mahim, Kolaba, Orly, Old Oman Island and Little Kolaba. We see that the city was initially was held by the Portuguese, and when Prince Charles to England married Catherine of Braganza, the daughter of King John IV of Portugal, even the England got as a dowry the Bombay, Catherine's dowry. It was then by the Royal Charter of 1688, the British East India Company got Bombay on lease for a sum of £10 per annum. We see that the Bombay now in 1686, Bombay became the headquarters of the British East India Company, and it was also a Bombay Presidency, already I mentioned, Calcutta Presidency, Bombay and Madras Presidency. Bombay started gradually, mid-18th century it began to develop, and we see that in 1817 the Mount Stuart Elphinstone defeated Bajirao II in the third battle of you see that the Anglo-Maratha war. Bajirao II was lost to the British in the battle of Khadgi, etc. However, in 1845, remember 1845, all the British 7 islands and Bombay were merged together, and it was known as through a project. It is called Hornby-Bellart project. Through Hornby-Bellart project, all the 7 islands are merged together. Now, Lord Dalhousie introduced the first railway line from Bombay to Thane in 1853. Lord Dalhousie introduced the rail lines Bombay to Thane. It actually thus Bombay began I say that the modernization began in Bombay. Now, initially you will be surprised to know Bombay was a fisherman's village. Bombay was actually initially in the beginning was a fisherman's village. So, gradually the Bombay became a very important center of political center when Mahatma Gandhi called for Quit India movement from Bombay in 1942. Now, Madras. At present it was known as Chennai. You know that previously it was known as Madras. You know that it is the European traders reached there in 1522 and built a port named after Christian disciple named St. Thomas. The Dutch established the center at Pulicat in 1612. Now in 39 an East India Company official Francis Day brought actually a strip of land on the Coromandel coast and etc. Then in 1746 the French captured the Fort St. George. You know, in Madras the British also built a fort called St. George, and when the Carnatic War began, you know that the French captured the St. George, and Madras later by the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, it was British regained the control of the city by the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle in 1749. We also know that during the Anglo-Mysore War, the British actually captured many places, and so that later when Hyder Ali and Tipu was defeated, the British captured the many places of the Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, etc. However, establishment of railway lines began in Madras in the late 19th century, And during the Second World War, Madras was attacked by German light cruiser SMS Emden, etc. Emden. Now, is that we can see that after independence in 1947, city Madras became the capital of the Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is 1969. Now, old and new Delhi. What was the trend? You know that the Delhi, which was built by one known as Shahjahanabad, during the time of Shahjahan built the Red Fort, which was the grandest city at that time. Red Fort was residence of the Mughals. Shahjahan also Shahjahanabad, etc. The many dargahs, masjid was built during the time of Mughal period. Jama Masjid was one of the grandest mosques of India. So, gradually Delhi was gradually when British established the New Delhi period 1830, you know that Delhi and the colony 1830 to 57. 1830 to 57, we see that the date is known as Delhi Renaissance. Renaissance literally means rebirth of art, architecture, and literature. Development of science and development of Urdu language led to this Delhi College in 1792. After the revolt of 1857, we see that the British wanted to wipe out the Mughal architecture in and around Delhi. We see that the Lutyens was given the responsibility for the construction of New Delhi. Edwin Lutyens and Herbert Baker were the two architects who were appointed to design the New Delhi. And New Delhi was constructed in the south city of the elevated platform, Raisana Hills, the government complex, the Rashtrapati Bhavan, etc., and India Gate, etc. Now, Viceroy's House, many other new buildings were constructed and wiping out the old Mughal architecture. Now, we see that in this way, the urbanization began. Delhi was completely reconstructed. You see that the new types of palatial buildings were built, government buildings, and also the road, wide road, and the road was broadened. And you see that moreover, we see that the previous, if you visit the Delhi, you will find a great deal of difference between the New Delhi and the Old Delhi. Old Delhi was much more congested, and you see that not very wide and not very broad, while in New Delhi you will find the new, as a result of Lutyens' design and architectural design, that it was really a very beautiful place. So, municipal, you know that in this way we see that many changes have been affected, and particularly we see that after the partition of India, we know that many people came to India from Punjab, Western Punjab, and many other places. So, however, it is see that the new elements or new type of culture was introduced in India as a result of increasing population, and we see that the large migration, people from Punjab came to Delhi, and as a result large migration of people from Punjab changed the socio-cultural milieu of the Delhi. New type of food, new type of dresses, art and architecture, language was introduced. So, thank you all. I like to discuss in the class if you have any doubt. So, I have made a rapid discussion because of the time. So, thank you all.